Welcome back to Miss Burkhart's math class. Again, make sure you have your notes, something to write with so you can take notes as you watch the video. Make sure you're pausing the video as you need to make sure you fill in all of the notes, including all the counters and so forth. And of course, as you need to go back, rewatch any parts. This one's a little bit more tricky, the information I'm going to share with you today. So do feel free to make sure you're going back and watching some of the parts again to make sure you really understand the concept. So today, again, we're continuing with Standard 6.6a on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing integers. But today we're going to focus on how to subtract integers using counters. So let's get started.
So let's just refresh your memory to start. What value is represented by these counters that you see right here? What's the value that you see? Did you say a positive 3? Because that is correct. And how do you know it's positive 3? Because there's more counters than 3 counters. And it's because this makes what? This is a 0 pair, right? Opposites, when you add opposites, a -1 and a +1, they cancel each other out. They make 0. So this whole value, because what was left over was 3 and 0, well, that makes 3. What if I added another 0 pair? What if I added another 0 pair here? What would this value be now? Still 3, right? Because I just simply added a 0. So 3 plus 0 is still 3. What if I added another 0 pair? What would my value of all of these counters together be? It would still be 3. So does it matter how many 0 pairs I add to this? Will it still be a value of 3? Yes. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind as we're going to continue with our subtraction. But first, let's remember way back in elementary school when you first learned how to subtract, right? So let's just take you back. You probably had counters or something that your teacher gave you, and your teacher probably said, okay, I want you for this problem, it says 3 minus 1 or 3 take away 1, right? And so your teacher probably had you put 3 counters on your table or something like that, or draw 3 things. And then the teacher explained, okay, well, this symbol means to take away. And it says to take away 1, right? And so what did you do? You probably took away 1 or slid 1 off your desk. We're going to, just so you have for your notes, you're going to draw an arrow. Just circle it and draw an arrow to show that you were taking it away. And then what did your teacher ask? What was left, right? And how many were left? 2. So 3 taking away 1 positive, right? Take away 1 positive is equal to 2. Okay, I know you know that, but I wanted you to see the process that you learned when you first learned subtraction, because we're going to use that same process as we start throwing in negative integers. All right, so let's do that. What now if we use the problem -3 minus -1? Similar to what we just did, but now they're both negatives. So these are just the steps kind of broken down, like you know what to do. What number do you start with? Well, the first number, right? You start with a starting number. So now you're going to draw on your paper with your notes 3 negatives, right? We start with 3 negatives, and then we ask ourselves in the second question, what is the problem asking you to do? Well, it's asking me to subtract or take away, right? -1. And then you ask, do you have that number to take away? Yes, I do. It says 3 negatives and I want to take away 1 negative. So I'm just going to circle that number and take it away. And then what do you have? Ask next, what's left? What is left? These 2 negatives. So -3 minus a -1 is equal to -2. Now, in a real life situation, what could this be? You could think of it as, well, I owed somebody $3. Now, this is where it gets a little weird. I want to take away a -1. So if we think of this -1 as owing $1, right? I owe $3, and then we're going to take away owing another $1. So that could mean let's say somebody said you owe them $3 and they said, you know what, I want you to just, never mind, I want you to take away one of the dollars you owe me, right? Just go ahead and just let's forget about it. Take it away. So what would that leave you with? Then you'd only owe them $2. Okay? A little strange, but stay with me. All right, so now I want you to try this next one. Follow these steps. Same thing, you're going to do this on your paper. So you're going to pause this video, solve the problem on your paper, draw the counters, do the steps, and then when you're ready and you've answered it on your paper, press play, and then the quiz question will pop up for you to answer. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and solve the problem. Okay, so how did you do? Did you get it right? Did you get a -3? Good job. All right, so now let's mix it up. What do we do now if we have a positive number minus a negative number? Okay, same steps. What number do you start with? We start with our starting number, which is +3 this time. So now we're going to start with 3 positives. And then it says, what is the problem asking you to do? Okay, it's asking me to take away -1. Uh-oh. But how am I going to, do I have, and that's the third question, do I have that number to take away? Do I have a -1 to take away? Nope, because all I have are positives. So what are we going to do? Well, remember back in the beginning, I told you to pay attention to this, right? When we started that, what value is represented. And remember, it didn't matter how many 0 pairs we put on, this value was still 3. Okay, so now let's use that to help us with our problem. Okay, if I can get there. There we go. So I have 3. It says take away 1 negative, but I don't have that. So I'm going to put on 0 pairs. Why am I going to put on a 0 pair? Well, because it doesn't change my value. I still have to have 3 positives. And what is this that I have right here now that I've put on this 1 0 pair? See, I'm going to put this in parentheses for now. That's our 0 pair. It's still 3, right? 3 plus 0 is still 3. So I have not changed the initial number. Just looks different. Now, though, do I have 1 negative to take away? Can I take away 1 negative? Yes. Do you see that? So now I'm going to do that. Now notice, I'm only going to take away the 1 negative, not the 0 pair. That's with adding. This is subtracting, so it's different, the opposite. So I'm going to take away 1 negative, and then what's left? 4 positives. Do you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I took away the negative part, the -1 of the 0 pair. What did that leave me with? A positive, the opposite part. So 3 minus -1 is a positive 4. Interesting, right? Now, just to show you in numbers what I did with the counters, I'm just going to write it out in numbers. So we started with 3 positives, right? It said take away 1 negative. I didn't have that. So what did we add? We put on a 0 pair, 1 0 pair. That's all I really needed for this one, right? So I added a -1 and a +1, remember, because this is our 0 right here, 0 pair. Then it said take away -1. So I did that. I'm just going to take away the -1. You see, I'm just writing down in numbers what we did with the counters. And what did that leave us with? The 3, right, plus the 1 negative, I'm sorry, the 1 positive that we were left with, the opposite part of the 0 pair. So that left us with 3 plus 1, which also equals, of course, 4. Okay? All right, stay with me. We're going to do another one similar to that where it's a positive minus a negative. So again, what number do we start with? 2 positives. So on your paper, you're going to start with 2 positives. And then the second question, what is the problem asking you to do? It says take away -3. I don't have 3 negatives to take away. So what are we going to do? No, don't have it to take away. We're going to add 0 pairs. So we're going to put on 1 0 pair, Because remember, if I'm adding 0, does it change my initial value, my starting number? No, it doesn't change the value of my starting number. So I've put on 1 0 pair. Can I now take away -3? Nope, I only have 1 negative. So I've got to put on another 0 pair. In fact, how many 0 pairs do I need? 3, right? Because that's how many negatives I want to take away. Okay, so here we are, 2, and this is all of our 0 pairs. So what's that value? That's 0, isn't it? So I still have 2, a total value of 2. Now, do I have the number to take away? Can I take away a -3? Yes. So now watch, I'm not taking away the 0 pairs. I'm just taking away what it asked me to, which is the -3. You see what I did? And now, what's left? The 2 positives, and then the opposite of what I took away of the 0 pairs, which is the +3. So what's left is a +5. So let me write down in numbers what we just did with the counters. Stay with me. So we're going to start, what did we start with? We started with 2 positives, right? Right here. And I didn't have the 3 negatives to take away, so I added a 0 pair, the -3 and the +3. See, that's what I put in parentheses right here. That's my 0 pair. Then I could take away the -3. So I'm just going to cross off the -3 because it said take that away. And what did we have left? 2 positives and 3 positives. So 2 minus -3 is the same as 2 plus +3. And again, thinking of a quote real life situation, if I have $2, now again, here's where it gets a little strange, and I want to take away $3 of debt, right? That -3 meaning $3 of debt. I have $2, I want to take away $3 of debt. So if I'm taking away the debt that I owe somebody, it's almost like I have those $3. If I take away the debt, that means I have $3. That's why it's the same as 2 plus +3. Okay, now if me writing down the numbers and how we did with the counters is a little bit more confusing, don't worry. Then just stick with the counters for right now, and vice versa, actually. So now it is your turn to try these. It's a positive minus a negative. Follow the steps. You're going to pause the video. You're going to show the work out on your paper. And then when you're ready and you have an answer, I want you to press play and answer the quiz question that'll pop up. So go ahead and press pause. Okay, how'd you do? So now let's just switch it around. We're going to do a couple of these where if I have a negative number minus a positive. Same steps, guys. So what number do you start with? Now I'm starting with negatives, 3 negatives. And it says, for a second step, what is the problem asking you to do? It says take away 1. Notice that's not take away -1. This is taking away 1, take away +1. Do I have 1 positive to take away? That's our next question. No, I don't. I only have negatives. So what am I going to have to do? Put on 0 pairs. Right. So let's do that. How many 0 pairs am I going to need? Just 1, because I want to take away 1 positive. Okay? So why did I put on 0 pairs? Well, because that doesn't change my initial starting number's value. This is still a value of -3. -3 and 0 is still -3. But now can I take away 1? Yes. Now remember, you're just taking away what it says, which is the +1. Take away the +1. And now we do have the number to take away, so what's left? And let's look. What is left? The 3 negatives we started with and the 1 negative that was left over from the 0 pair, which leaves us with -4. Okay? If I write that out, what we did with the counters, we started with -3. I didn't have the 1 positive to take away, so I added a 0 pair, -1 and +1, right? Now, however, I was taking away the positive part of the 0 pair. So I took away the +1. What did that leave me with? It's opposite, right? So this was the same as saying negative 3 plus negative 1. And what's that equal? Yeah, negative 4. So notice it's the same thing. All right? Subtracting 1 is the same as adding the negative 1. Okay, let's do another one more like this together, and then you'll have one to try on your own. So, what number do you start with? Negative 2. So let's pull these two negatives down. We ask ourselves the next question. What's the problem asking you to do? Take away 3. 3 positives, not take away negative 3. It's take away 3, positive 3. Do we have that number to take away? No, we don't have 3 positives. We only have what? 2 negatives. So we don't have that, so what do? Add 0 pairs. How many 0 pairs should I put on here? Should I put on 1? Will that give me the 3 positives to take away? Nope. So I've got to add another 0 pair. I'm going to add, in fact, how many 0 pairs? 3 0 pairs. Why? Because that's a number I want to take away, right? The 3 positives. So again, here's my 0 pairs. That makes 0, right? They're opposites. Negative 2 plus 0 is still negative 2. Right? I'm just going to put those on there. Now, though, do I have can I take away 3 positives? Yes. Remember, just take away what it's asking. Taking away the 3 positives. And now we ask ourselves, what's left? What's left? Well, we have the 2 negatives, and then the opposite of the 3 we took away, which was the 3. Now we have 3 negatives, so that gives us negative 5. All right, so if I had to write this down in numbers just so you see it, we started out with our 2 negatives, and then because I did not have I could not subtract 3 positives, I put on my 0 pairs, which was negative 3. Oops, and now my pen's not going to work correctly. The negative 3 and the positive, that's supposed to be a plus, that's positive 3, right? This is my 0 pair. And now I could take away 3. And what were we left with? Negative 2. And the opposite of the positive 3 we took off. So negative 2 minus 3 is the same as negative 2 plus negative 3, which is negative 5. Okay? Now it's your turn. So I want you to try, same thing, pause the video, follow the steps, draw the counters, and then when you're ready and you have an answer, press play, and the quiz question will pop up, so press pause. Okay, how did you do? Well, I have one bonus question for you. You can follow these same steps. This is 3 minus 5. Wonder what you'll get. So for your bonus question, press pause, try the problem, and then press play when you're ready to answer the quiz question. All right, press pause. Okay, so how did you do? Did you get a negative 2? If not, that's okay. Try it again and see what you get and see how to get that. And why is it negative? Interesting.
So to recap, in today's lesson, you learned how to subtract integers using counters. Great job. This was a tough one. So if you need to, go back and rewatch any parts just to make sure you get it. And make sure you have your notes, keep them in your binder, and bring your binder and your notes to class. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.